I'm Brian Lilly. Whatever happened to merit? That is the topic of tonight's byline. The federal government announced a slew of appointments to the federal court in Ontario yesterday. 22 judges in all. This follows appointments announced last week in BC, Alberta, Quebec, and New Brunswick. Well, normally, appointments to courts, even federal courts at the provincial level, they don't attract too much attention, but Toronto's elitist media guardians are always on the lookout for anything this current government does that deviates from their agenda. So the Toronto Red Star today has an article, a long article that talks an awful lot about who isn't on the court, but not much about who's been appointed. The article opens with this paragraph. Ottawa has announced 22 new judicial appointments for Ontario following criticism that the large number of vacancies is delaying cases. But only 3 of the new judges are women. Okay, so we know that of the 22, only 3 are women. Are the ones appointed men or women? Are they qualified? We don't hear much of that in the article. That's not talked about. Instead, it's more complaining about who didn't make the cut. After the Star rehashes their attack on Peter MacKay, claiming he's sexist, they move on to complaining that not enough defense lawyers were appointed. By the way, there were none. Toronto defense lawyer John Struthers, who is a provincial director of the Criminal Lawyers Association, expressed concern about the absence of full-time defense lawyers on the bench, counsel who've logged significant hours defending accused persons. The Star loves defense lawyers, the guys who get criminals off easy, because the Star doesn't really believe in criminals or jail time, except for law-abiding gun owners and maybe conservative politicians. Anyway, since they're talking about what was not included in the Ontario appointments, how about I show you what was not included in their article? When BC got its 2 appointments last week, one of the 2 appointments went to a woman. Same in Quebec, 2 appointments, 1 man, 1 woman. In New Brunswick, 2 appointments, both women. That's 100%. In Alberta, there was 1 appointment. I'm shocked the Star didn't include this one, claiming 100% of the Alberta appointments went to men, all 1 of them. Is this the way we should be picking judges, by their sex or by looking at the best applicants for the job that happens to be open? But the Star loves to do this. They love to claim and promote identity politics. They love to claim that women are kept out of certain jobs. I simply don't believe that's the case today. And if it does happen, it's rare. But ever notice that the Star doesn't go on campaigns to get more male teachers? The overwhelming majority of elementary and high school teachers are women. Men try and break into this profession, but it's tough. Same with nursing. But where are the campaigns for gender equality there? Well, they don't exist because it's not really about gender equality. That's just a tool in a political battle against the Conservatives. If they had appointed 22 women, the left would have found another reason to complain. They would have said that these can't be real women because, obviously, they're Conservatives. Now, over at the Globe and Mail, they are complaining about the politics of some of the appointees. I still love, some people claim that the Globe is actually a Conservative paper. It isn't. It is a Toronto establishment paper, plain and simple. In the Toronto establishment, they're not Conservative. The Globe headline for this story, they made it their top story in the above the fold in the print edition, and it said, Tories appoint law profs to Ontario courts. The subheading reading, Western University professors known for conservative views, new justice for highest court, first non-judge appointment since 2002. Their online headline, more to the point, Tories appoint 2 conservative law professors as judges. So we got 22 appointments by a Conservative government, and the Globe found 2 out of 22 with Conservative leanings, and they're complaining about it. Normally, the Globe campaigns for bold justices. That's what they want appointed, meaning they want activist judges appointed to the court, especially the Supreme Court. But listen to how they describe Grant Houscroft. He's a professor of constitutional law at Western University in London, Ontario, who's just been appointed. He said in a 2012 television interview that judges on the Ontario Court of Appeal, the court he is joining, went too far when they described the Conservative government's mandatory minimum sentence of 3 years for illegal gun possession as cruel and unusual punishment and struck it down. Imagine that, the horror, a judge that worries about judges going too far. The article goes on to fret that the other appointment, Bradley Miller, who also teaches at Western, is an originalist in interpreting the Constitution. Professor Miller espouses a form of originalism, a view of the Constitution held by conservative judges such as Antonin Scalia and Clarence Thomas in the United States, but almost totally rejected in Canada. Well, rejected by the Globe and Mail and the Toronto establishment. They believe the Constitution is a living tree, and just because the words say one thing and that the people that wrote them meant one thing doesn't mean those words can't mean something else now, because look, times have changed. These are the people that believe not in striking down laws because they're actually unconstitutional, but because they are unfashionable. Professor Miller, and it appears Professor Houscroft, may agree with this idea as well, that the law should be interpreted by judges. It's not up to judges to rewrite the laws from the bench to suit their tastes. If legislatures want to rewrite laws well, it's up to them to do that and to make sure they're constitutional. It doesn't matter if they're fashionable. The Globe story, like the Star story, isn't about whether the 22 judges are qualified. It's about complaining that they aren't the right kinds of judges. In the case of the Globe, that their politics are all wrong. While most Canadians, and I assume this current government, want to know that Canada's courts are staffed with qualified judges, the Toronto elite, as represented by the Star and the Globe, they just want to know that their agenda is still on the march. This time, though, it looks like they lost, and hopefully it was all due to merit. And that's the byline.